opportunity for me to have live Q&A with people in the community, sometimes people who are in the comment section, sometimes people who are out in the world. And I came across this brother Brandon, who identifies as a Pan-Africanist, correct?
Yes.
Brother Brandon, who identifies as a Pan-Africanist. And so I saw a comment of yours on Twitter that I found interesting. And so I wanted to build with you about it. And I say I always like to have the conversations with folk in person so that we can actually build. So yesterday I notified Twitter. I posted on Twitter an announcement about the YouTube channel, about this channel that we're on right now.
And I'm not a fan of anybody. It just happened to pass through my algorithm and I seen it. I know who Marc Lamont Hill is, right? And I was like, oh shit, this is a debate with Brandon. And then I saw how Brandon tried to do his shit that he be doing at No Jumper, and it didn't work against somebody that's intellectual. It didn't work against these people that he tried to be with. So now he brought himself down the level to the gangbangers and is working with y'all.
And specifically, I want to bring people into night school, which is my daily program. And so I put this post up that said, join the Marc Lamont Hill official YouTube channel, support independent media. And you responded by saying, sorry, Marc Lamont Hill, the Democrats already have a House Negro. His name is Roland Martin. Can I call you Struggle Roland? And I was like, wow, that's a lot there.
So he tried to troll him. He probably didn't even think that Marc Lamont Hill was going to reply to him. But sometimes people have time today, champ.
And that's why I reached out. I said, I always like to create space to have conversations with Black people. I always like to have conversations with people who have a critique. So I guess my first question for you was, when you say the Democrats already have a House Negro, what about me suggested I'm a House Negro for Democrats? I'm just curious.
I mean, Mark, if I could call you Mark. Let's not pretend like for years you weren't a part of the Democrat machine pushing all these different Democrat in my opinion, radical ideologies that they used that they pandered to for so many years to try to gain power, right? You fell out with the Democrats in 2018 when you stood up for Palestine, which I would say is a just cause. I'm okay with you there. And basically, the Democratic military industrial complex turned on you because you didn't play along with the narrative that they tried to force down our throats about Israel.
Now, look at how subtle Marc Lamont Hill pulls up this YouTube finance article that says Marc Lamont Hill to vote Democrat for the first time in 24 years. Come on, let's not act like you're not a Democrat and you don't have these radical ideologies and the industrial military complex went against you. Nigga, what are you talking about, bro? Bro, what are you talking about, bro? You just spewing rhetoric, bro. It's not gonna work. It works with kids. This don't work with grown men, bro.
So I just look at you as a person who you were burned by the Democrats. Now you have an issue with why are people voting for Joe Biden?
My
why are people
so
voting
smooth
for
with it.
Democrats or
My
whoever?
son Marc Lamont
Which
Hill
is before then I was
smooth.
supporting the Democrats.
You were right there. You were right
look,
there.
look.
So let me bring up a couple things. Here's a piece that I wrote in 2008 called "Not My Brand of Hope." Did you vote for Obama? I don't know if you're old enough to vote. Did you vote for Obama?
Yeah, I voted for Obama the first term.
So you voted for the Democrat. In 2008, I was the most visible and prominent Black person at this time to say why I wasn't going to endorse President Obama. In fact, here's the piece I wrote in The Root during the first year that The Root was around called "Not My Brand of Hope." And I break.
So when Obama went for presidency and got in office, Brandon voted for him. Marc Lamont Hill did not. So who's the Democrat? Now all of a sudden you took niggas crazy, bro. Trying to tell y'all about Brandon, bro. I just wanted to show y'all this.
Break down all the reasons why I didn't vote for Obama and why I wasn't going to vote
Wild
for Obama,
paragraphs.
Right.
Now I'm going to show you something else. Now,
Brandon.
Now here's a piece where it says, I didn't write this piece. They wrote the piece. Marc Lamont Hill to vote Democrat for first time in 24 years. So you're saying up until 3 or 4 years ago, I'm sorry, until 2018, I supported Democrats. But according to this article, I've only voted for one Democrat in a quarter of a century. According to the chronology, even of this piece, I didn't vote for it. You do know that I'm a lifelong Green Party member. Did you know that?
I didn't know you were a lifelong Green Party member. I really make I make no separation between the Green Party and the Democrat Party. It's really the same thing. It's just Democrats by another name. Me, I'm a very straight shooter.
How so? Let's just be clear though. You were saying that I was a shill for the Democratic Party, and I'm showing you. Here's another piece of me in not voting for Hillary Clinton in 2018. Would you at least, to move forward, would you at least be able to concede that you were wrong? That I keep supporting?
No, I'm not going to concede that I was wrong because
let me ask a question before you say no.
Okay.
You said that I consistently endorsed Democratic Party candidates, and I've never endorsed a Democratic Party candidate.
You consistently endorsed radical liberal policies. Anybody can go listen to Green Party presidential candidate Ralph Nader. He has a podcast. The guy is a Democrat, just a different label. He's a radical liberal, Trump deranged, just like every liberal that you listen to.
Ralph Nader's not a member of the Green Party, though, brother.
What party is he in?
No, but he's not a member of the Green Party.
Okay.
He's been a member of the Green Party in 20 years.
But when he was running for president, who did he run under?
In 2000, 24 years ago?
Who did he run under?
Yeah, 24 years ago, he was a Green Party.
Okay, what you got to understand is when I voted for Obama, I was 23 years old. It was actually my first time voting. But once when I was able to see the writing on the wall, I didn't vote for Obama the next term. I voted Republican. And since then, I've been voting Republican. You had a time during.
Okay, so just so I'm clear. Even so, when you say you're saying that even though you say I endorsed these Democratic Party candidates, right? Not people who are like Democrats or liberals.
I didn't say you endorsed Democratic Party candidates. What I said is
you specifically did. You specifically did, and I can rewind and show you when you said that.
Okay.
But you now acknowledge that I don't, right? You acknowledge that, right?
You were not a member. You never voted Democrat. You were a member of the Green Party.
Yes.
And and you can acknowledge that I said that I make no separation between the Green Party and the Democrat Party, because when you actually did do the digging into the Green Party,
would be a legitimate. Does the Democratic Party? You said the Democratic Party supports the military-industrial complex, right?
Of course they do.
How does in what way does the Green Party support the military-industrial?
Do you hear? In what way does the Green Party support the military-industrial complex?
Give me an example. Yeah.
Show me.
No, I want you to give me an example.
Okay. I will be honest with you. I don't look at the Green Party's policies concerning Ukraine and all that stuff. I mostly focus on like Democrat, Republican parties that actually have a chance to win and hold the seat of power. So the Green Party is to me, the Green Party is like someone saying, I vote independent.
So let me ask you a different question then. Do you feel like you know enough about the Green Party to critique their policies?
Yes, I do, because I've listened.
So if you do, then my question would be, give me an example of since you say the reason I'm saying this is because you say I fell out with the Democratic Party over the military-industrial complex. But then when I say I'm a Green Party member, you say they're the same. And I say, well, the Green Party doesn't support the military-industrial complex. And you say, well, I don't know enough to have that conversation. So let's talk about a different issue. The Democratic Party supports. Does the Democratic Party support reparations?
The thing here, Mark, we're not really here to argue about the Green Party. What we're here to discuss.
There you go, Lord. I just didn't want to say it. A lot of his rhetoric come from the Cream Cheese podcast that he watches. So he feel like just because Marc Lamont Hill is a black dude, that, you know, his stances are mostly for black people, and that's what a lot of people say is Democrat and those liberal and those other shit. You know, he's taking that stance, but Marc Lamont Hill actually is not that.
Talking about the Green Party, you made a point to say I'm a House Negro for the Democrats.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And I'm not a Democrat.
Listen, let's take Democrat out. Liberal,
so let's take out what
radical
you said. You're saying
liberal
let's disregard what you said.
policy.
Okay, so
Radical liberal policy.
okay, so
as black
radical
people,
liberal
listen,
policy.
as black people,
So you was
right? I'm a
wrong.
Pan-African, so I focus a lot on black people, but white people are great too. They're Americans. I'm an American. I love America. Mark, we are at a crucial stage in the trajectory or downfall of our country. That's not the time to get lost in the weeds arguing about the ins and outs specifics of the Green Party. Here's the fact. Nobody from the here's the fact. Here's the fact. No one from the Green Party is ever going to be president. Let's be men and let's talk like men about things that matter. Here's another fact.
So you're trying to tell somebody that they ideologies and what they believe in don't matter because the likeliness of them overcoming the Republican and Democrat nominees or things like that is never going to happen. So what this man stands for and the work that he put in for the past 20, 30 years of his life just don't mean nothing because no Green Party member is going to be president, bro. This nigga talk like a kid. He talk like a teenager, bro.
Palestine ain't got nothing to do. Palestine has nothing to do.
Hold on, let me pause you for a minute. I'll let you finish. But you're misrepresenting the conversation.
The reason why I'm calling you a house,
I only brought the Green Party up as a direct challenge to the unfactual statement you made that I have endorsed and been a member of the Democratic Party. In fact, you specifically said that I fell out with the Democratic Party in 2018, which is untrue. So I only brought the Green Party up as a contradiction of that. But we can move on to the point that you're making. So you say that.
So the first point, you was wrong. I'm not a House Negro for the Democrats. We may share some ideologies, but at the end of the day, I'm just not with them. We don't share all of the ideology at the same time.
As a what part of the Republican Party supports a Pan-African vision?
None.
No part of the Republican Party has to support a Pan-African. That's the whole point. The party doesn't even matter. The policies are what's important. See, when you say what policy? Let me make a point. When you say what part of the Republican Party supports Pan-African, you are from that school of thought where you believe that the only way you can relate to or communicate politics to African American people is through fear mongering. You, Roland Martin, you guys are all in the same. You guys are all in the same contract.
Hold on. What did I say?
Let's talk about policy.
No. Hold on. What did I say to suggest fear mongering?
We're all Americans.
I'm going to pause you again. What did I say that implied fear mongering?
You said what part of the Republican Party supports Pan-African as if Pan-Africanism.
Hold on. You said you're a Pan-Africanist and you vote Republican. I'm asking
what's wrong? No,
Hold on. I'm not saying anything's wrong with it. I was asking you to explain why you made the choice. I'm just asking you to explain the policy.
Yes, I am a conservative. I have conservative values, just like every single black person in America.
He's wild vague, bro. You being mad vague, bro. Explain to him, bro. Pull some points out. I don't this and that, you know. Say what you gotta say, champ.
Was raised on conservative values, but also I have a brain which I can use so that I don't make decisions emotionally. Like I make decisions based on what's best for me and my people. Like you're all championed out for Palestine. That's an emotional thing. Palestine has nothing to do with the black experience in America. You're a black man.
About that.
You're a black man. Let me finish my point.
Okay.
You're a black man who had a very prominent and powerful platform. You sacrificed that to talk about Palestine when no Palestinian anywhere will sacrifice anything for you. So when you lose your platform, who loses a piece on the chessboard? Not Palestine, African American people.
Okay, so you're saying you're exclusively focused on the issues of black people in America.
First, I'm focused on issues of African Americans because I am African American and we're in a bad place politically. Second, I am focused on the issues concerning all Americans overall because I am an American,
Right,
whether that be white
all right,
Americans, Asian Americans, or
so do
whatever.
one thing for me. Define Pan-Africanism for me.
Pan-Africanism is the belief that all black people around the globe should come together politically, politically, spiritually, many might argue, and economically.
Okay.
Just if you're black, no matter where you are on the globe, you should be of the mind that in a mindset that favors the collective progress of black people.
Fair enough. So I only have 2 minutes left, but I wanted to just get this. Okay. So you're criticizing me for not being focused enough on blacks in America, but your identity as a Pan-Africanist means you're concerned with people in countries all around the world.
Right.
You don't see the
there's black people in America. There's black people in America. So hold on, let me finish.
You asked me to let you finish. I'll let you finish.
You said you had 2 minutes and you taking up the 2 minutes.
I'm going to give you the 2 minutes, but I am going to talk on my own show.
Okay.
So you'll still have your 2 minutes, but
I have my own show, but go ahead.
I didn't say you don't have a show. This just isn't it. What I'm saying is we have 2 minutes. I'm going to talk, and then I'll give you a chance to respond, and you'll have the same amount of time you'd have had if you don't interrupt.
Yeah.
So you're saying I should only be concerned with black people in America.
That is your.
You, however, are concerned with people outside of America if you identify as a Pan-Africanist. That is inherently a contradiction. The next, I'll let you finish this. Let me respond. Let me make the point before you respond. The fundamental premise that you had here, though, is that I prioritize Palestine and don't deal with black people in America. I've written 8 books. 7 of them are about black people in America. I run a community education program for black people in America. I do organizing and activism for black people in America. I fight to release political prisoners, all of whom are black, here in America. I open a bookstore for black people here in America. I've taught at HBCUs here in America for black people.
He's cooking.
All the media platforms.
Yeah, he's cooking.
The Root, all media platforms. Black America.
He's cooking. He's cooking.
I have 2 questions for you, right? And then you can go at it however you want.
He's
cooking.
For
the full 2 minutes. You ain't lost a thing.
Jeez.
First question is, what am I not doing for Black America that is sufficient? And the second question is, if you care about black people all around the globe, then why not deal with the black people or the African people who are in Palestine? Those are my 2 questions.
Okay. So I'm just gonna make this straight to the point. African American people, our people who live in America, our political ignorance actually impacts the rest of the world. It's no secret that black people voting for Joe Biden at a clip of 87% was the #1 reason why he actually was able to take the White House. But Joe Biden's presidency directly led to war, whether it's the encouraging of Ukraine to join NATO that him and Kamala Harris engaged in when they made an agreement with Russia not to do so, or if it's the rubber stamp, or the rubber stamp that Biden has given to Israel to commit genocide.
Yo, bro, my son talk like them, bro. He asked you a question. The first thing you start going to is Joe Biden rhetoric.
What I'm telling you, Mark, is your priorities are messed up. If you were a black man focused on black people in America, not just sitting up trying to talk about LGBTQ and all this stuff that these are not
talking about, though. You still haven't answered the question.
Interrupt you though.
You did interrupt me. Actually, you did interrupt me 4 times. Remember, we had the whole exchange about not interrupting you. I'm asking you to answer the question though. I've asked you 3 questions. You've answered 1 of them.
Right.
Mark,
he still didn't answer the question.
I'm making a point here because we're lost in the weeds. What I'm telling you is
because we're lost in the weeds. You can't answer the question.
Non-issues that the people, your people, who really need direction, black political ignorance is not only killing America, it's killing the rest of the globe. Everything you are fighting for is directly impacted by the vote of African Americans. If Biden didn't get an overwhelming amount of the African American vote, we wouldn't even be having war in Ukraine, which I believe led directly to the situation in Israel, because we would have had Donald Trump in office, a president that is proven to be
Daddy Trump.
anti-war,
Daddy
even
Trump,
if it is
champ.
only for economic reasons.
My son went from Daddy Trump to Daddy Adam, champ. Ah, champ. I'm showing you the before. I'm showing y'all the before. I'm showing y'all this is what happened in a year ago to where he's at now. He lost 2 battles. It was this one, and I'm gonna show y'all another one, champ, before we get crazy, right?